Here's what I wanted to talk about. This is a couple quick little things about emotions. This is by John Asseroff. I think that's how you say it. I've been consolidating my notes and things and writing down just the juicy things for me to keep and refer to. He's talking about fear, what's causing it, and this is just a brain thing in general, a human brain, the way our brains work, not just ADHD. What's causing a fear that we have is something from, almost always, it's a memory from the past when you think about it. Something that's happened, or something that was said, or something that happened to us. I just think when you think of it that way, it's a belief that already exists. This is going to happen, or I hate it when this happens, or I'm afraid this is going to happen. It all comes from something that's already happened. It's already a thought we already have. So what we're looking at is a memory from the past versus an emotion that causes the emotion right now in reality. So he's kind of saying you can choose from this point. It's not that simple, but we can think about whatever the thought is differently. We can change the emotion that goes with it. He pointed out that emotions, unless we dwell on them just by themselves, they last about 90 seconds. I found that sort of comforting and sort of like, what? That if we don't focus on it, and if we sit and dwell on it, we can have an emotion all freaking day, all week, all year. So, it goes away if you don't focus on it after like 90 seconds. So I love the thought of that if we can just stop and recognize it. Here's the emotion I'm having. This is therapy right here. This is what you learn in therapy. Observe it. If we can sort of look at it like, Kristen is feeling very scared about something, very anxious. And instead of going, I feel anxious, go, okay, so I'm feeling anxious. Here I am. This feeling of anxiety is coming over me, all right? And then if you'll breathe, because that really does have something, I'm sure most of you believe it and know that deep breaths actually do calm our whole parasympathetic nervous system. It calms us down and helps our body to know and our brain to know, okay, you're not in danger. So he says to take 6 deep breaths. And then the emotion will go away if you don't focus on it. I just think that's a really cool thing to focus on. If you guys don't know, I write the Turquoise Iris Journal by Dionne Woods, Turquoise Iris. She'd asked me to write an article about ADHD, living with it, working. I just finished last night for the one that's for July. And it's about creativity, and I learned a lot of things about the way that, in general, we think why we are usually more creative. We are creative because we have to think outside of the box. I found out that when we think in a non-linear way, that's how we usually process like tasks and problems and things, that means that our thought, we have a ton of thoughts. We all know that we have a ton of thoughts all at once, sort of just like one after the other. They go all directions. They don't progress. Like typical brains follow steps. Their thoughts do. They progress in a straight line. Ours don't do that. Ours go, oh wait, I was gonna do that, fix that light over there. And also, I need to clean the paint off of me. But I'm talking about creativity. Y'all get the picture. I'm sure you could do the same thing. Because the thoughts are here and here and here and here, that makes it hard to do things like focus and plan and be organized. But it also makes us creative because we're thinking of all these different ways to do things all at once, even if we don't want to, right? Nonlinear thinking is like, think about a puppy, like you're taking him on a walk up a mountain without a leash. He's just roaming free. He's gonna go, whoa, he's gonna smell this thing, and then you can imagine a puppy like on the path, and then behind you, running back, running forward, going over here, going over there. But that also means we're discovering new things, and we're thinking about different ways to do things. And then linear thinking is like if you'd had him on a leash, and you're like a tight leash, and you're walking him, and we're going, nope, and you pull him back, and we go up the mountain, and then he runs this way, but he tries to, and you pull him back and go, nope, this is the path. We're going to the top. Here's the goal, the top of the mountain. We're gonna walk straight. And we'll be like, okay, but if we went around? And what if we went sideways? What if we got on our knees? So it's exhausting. It's like corralling a bunch of thoughts all at once. Nonlinear thinking, where our thoughts are usually going in 80 different directions, makes it hard to choose a course of action. We're mentally exhausted before we even decide which step to start with. Like a starting point is hard for most of us. Starting point is hard even. And people that can think linearly, normal brains, they're like, well, what other point would there be? You start right here. We can be like, yes. But between those things, when we think of all the other things in the middle, add to that the struggle with planning, managing time, and following through with tasks. And we've got quite a problem actually carrying out all the creative ideas that we have. And that is the problem. Lots of creative ideas, can't follow through with them. And paints in my hair, ugh. And so that's the problem. And so that's why we have groups like this and why people pay for ADHD coaches and because we want to know we're not alone. Like, no, this is a thing. It's a thing. It's a medical thing, a fact. And so we can stop try to work on the voice that goes, you're an idiot because you can't do this. Figuring out, well, what can we do then? Working together helps. That you can say, you know what, I need to do this and this and this, but I don't even know where to start. Well, what is it? Another person is like the leash. It brings you back, which is why we always, most of us, like want someone standing there. Like, don't talk to me, but can you just stand there? Because when they are, you're aware of what you're doing. When we're alone, it doesn't do it by itself. It needs something external to remind us. So people help. That's why timers are effective for most of us. I mean, they are to a degree, especially if you can hear them ticking. But when you know you have a time limit, that helps. And so really, then it's a matter of like, well, we know all these things. Why don't we just do them? You need someone to go, okay, which one am I going to do? I'm doing the timer. I'm going to do the timer at 7 o'clock. That kind of thing. If we can set little bitty habits and little bitty goals, then that doesn't feel too overwhelming. And then have something making you do it. So there's hope. We're going to pick a smaller thing, a chunk of it, a ridiculously small thing. Like, I'm going to declutter 30 photos from my Photos app. It's a start. I mean, there are thousands. But if I did 30 a day, I would be done eventually. And I'll do more than 30 probably. So that's a good idea. I appreciate you. If you have any questions, please put them in here. Or you can message me, whatever you want.